Hello and welcome, everyone. Boy, do we have an incredible show today. And I want to share a quick question. What would your life be like if you absolutely knew you could have whatever you want because you were connected to everything? Well, for most people, that seems kind of like a bold statement, but when you are aligned to the thing we're going to be talking about today, when you are unfettered and things are not clawing or holding back your energy field from its fullest expansion, your life can really become that of magnetization of miracles, of the things you really want. And we're going to talk about the frequency of unbounded love, which is one of the highest divine frequencies, but also how this can manifest in to purpose, abundance, joy, possibilities, more money, and many things that so many of us truly desire. And our guest today is somebody that's done energy work on me. Her name is Martinez. She absolutely was just a huge hit last season, and so many people wrote back. Many dear friends wrote to me and said, she totally shifted my beliefs on this one thing. She pulled something out that was in my energy field that was holding me back. And I am truly free. And I can tell you, I am blown away by the number of people that wrote into me. And many of them personal friends that had not gone deeper into any programs wrote in and said, this beautiful being helped me in a way that I had not been able to figure out. So we're going to jump in today. Our goal is to reach a lot of people, help you. So do this. Press *2 on your phone. I'm going to take people 100% first come as they come in and raise their hand. Everyone's in order, but please do that. And also write into us on the webcast, because our guest today is somebody who's actually done work on me. She found a literal energetic etheric dagger in my side that was actually draining my energy, and she pulled it out. And immediately I could feel this very warm flow of energy, this warm flow of love coming in to a place where routinely on my left side, I routinely had pains, hip pains, leg pains, this sort of thing was now alleviated by removal of this. So we're going to be talking about what those things are that she sees, how she sees them, and how this 360-degree upgrade affects your entire energy field. And her name is Martinez. She is a human potential activator, a wealth conscious activator, a multidimensional healer, energy alchemist, a light language channel, and a medical intuitive, and much more. And she supports you to identify your gifts and talents, discover your true life purpose, and access your full potential so you can achieve happiness, abundance, prosperity, joy, and fulfillment. She has a very unique ability that I love, is to see, feel, and know and hear the deepest desires that you have, and also see what is blocking you from stepping into this. You're going to get a lot of specifics. This could go off-world. This could go into all sorts of different places and dimensions. And the truth about this is we are a multidimensional energy field. We are multidimensional beings. And so one of the things she's able to do through 16 plus light beings that she connects to is get them, along with her energy, to remove blocks that keep you from having it all, from living abundantly, from manifesting your unique extraordinary life. She's helped thousands of people do this all over the world, and I want to share a few of the stories. We had an interesting story that came in from one being, Kim, who said, literally, I had the strongest month of abundance that I'd ever had. After working with Maria, I made an additional $24,000 in 3 weeks. Money started coming in many unexpected sources. Even people that owed me money from 2 years ago started calling and saying that they wanted to pay it back. And more, it just kept flowing. Another person wrote in, she helped me to heal energetically from an autoimmune disorder that would have taken my life. Another person wrote in and said, my brain fog, my feeling of unworthiness, my pain and anxiety, it disappeared. We're going to be talking about all of it. What would your life look like with unbounded love, no limits, no boundaries to what you could do, be, or have? Only infinite possibility. And to help us get there and create this beautiful space, let's welcome Maria Martinez to You Also Revolution. Maria, welcome.
Thank you. I'm just so excited. As you were talking all of this, I kept feeling like the child or the kid in the candy store that just, so many goodies and so many energies flowing in and so much excitement all around, so many infinite possibilities that are available to us now. So it's just, I can't wait to get started. So amazing.
That's pretty much the energy we love to foster here. I mean, that's what I said in the opening. I love that frequency. I felt it. It's really what we come from on the other side, because it is infinite there. When you started opening up to this, when things started, you started realizing there was more to the world than just the 3D table, desk, chair, go to school, slog through life. How old were you, and when did this start coming in?
I was really young. I was about 5. And I just, for me, it was sort of a natural way of life. I saw spirits. I saw, wow. Family members that had passed, angels coming through, Jesus, Joshua would visit me, Mother Mary, grandparents. It was just like the norm for me. I thought it was very similar for everyone. And in experiencing them, I also started experiencing my teaching, my learning. They started teaching me different things, different healings, different modalities, how to communicate, how to see, how to discern. So my training began very, very early on. As you know, my earliest recollection is like 5, maybe even younger.
And when you started connecting with all these energies, were you at all like, I don't know, kind of like scared or like, what is this? Or did it just feel natural because of the age?
Yeah, at the beginning it felt natural. When you're that young, you're really still in that place of wonder unless, something comes in and kind of takes that from you. So I was still in a place of wonder, but as I got older and I started sharing these things, what I was seeing with my parents, I'd tell my mom, oh, my grandmother just came in, or somebody just came in, I described it, and she knew exactly who that was. So, she explained to me that we come from a lineage of healers, light healers, and also, the work that they did was very different than how I was sort of being guided to do it. So she came in with some fears, and from her fears, I think that created some fears in me. And when I started seeing the things that we don't really want to see, that started creating more fears. And there was a time where it's almost like I was constantly fighting that darkness from coming in, until I really, it took me a long time actually, not necessarily fighting the darkness to come into me. It's coming into my space and seeing it, because at that point, that fear that was being instilled started creating resistance to my gifts, to actually allowing my gifts to expand, and for me to see what was there and discern everything, know what was from the light and what wasn't. And, of course, what was in the light was very joyful, and I was really open to, but I wasn't really open to seeing the other lower energies. And this, as up until college, I remember my first year in college, this was something that was very much ongoing. And I remember feeling in college, like, I don't even know in what dimension I am right now in this moment, because I was seeing so many different things. So at that point, I decided, I have gifts. I know I'm here for something other than myself. I know that this was given to me for a greater purpose. So that was the first time I talked to my mom, and I said, they're not going anywhere. This is what I was given. In the Spanish, we call them dones. So I said, these are my dones. I said, so I need help in, sort of working through all of this, harnessing them so that I can help others. And we found my first teacher, which was a family friend, a curandera. And she started teaching me how to activate more, how to see more, how to help more, because I was doing a lot of the work, but I was being guided by my angels. So they just, they showed me what needed to be done. They'd give me the resources, and I do whatever they asked me to do. But I was sort of observing everything. I wasn't actively doing it myself consciously. So she taught me how to bring them forth and sort of, like turn them on when needed, and then turn them off when I didn't need to be in other dimensions.
And you've mentioned something interesting, like the light was really great, but then you said there's other areas that weren't in the light. What is that, and what did you, if you care to share, like what did you kind of discover about what's going on in these other realms? Right.
So I saw a lot of entities. When you're that young, and many of healers, when we first start stepping into it, they almost come in to sabotage us, because we know we have that embedded fear already, from society, from humanity, and they come in to sabotage you, to distract you, to move you away or create other challenges in your life. So I started seeing dark energies. I started seeing various different type of entities. And I also started seeing other beings who were working in the dark. So, that's when I started having the conversations, like witches, warlords, just different beings that are not working in the light, like what you would call the opposite of an angel, or the opposite of an ascended master, the opposite of a goddess, that would come in and review. It's almost like they were coming in to taunt me. Like I knew that, and they would even say, "No one can help you." Wow. So I had to have these serious conversations with my mom. And during that time, the same person that became my mentor was, she was sort of guiding me. She was helping me clear my space. She was helping me do all these things. Then finally she said, yeah, we need to get you to the next level and really have you do it yourself. And this is where I think my work goes back to is we can always help others. Right? We can always help them clear the space, clear whatever energies. But when you show them and when you give them processes, when you show them different techniques, now they're empowered. Now, we're all creating that light. We're all kind of holding hands together and we're shining a light on all the darkness. And we're bringing light to the darkness to elevate everybody else.
Yeah. Do you think you'd be here today in this capacity if you listened, if those dark, whatever they were, had control, if they sort of shut, I guess if you really focused on that, at least.
No, I'm here. Darius?
Yeah. Would you what was your answer? I'm sorry, Maria. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, I now can hear you. You went out for a minute. If
interesting. So we asked about them, and the line goes crazy. Huh?
Exactly.
Somebody didn't like that question. Oh gosh.
Exactly. And so that's why we're giggling about it, because now I know that it's just light, right? It's dark and light, and without one there wouldn't be the other, and it's just energy, and they're not you are light. So now when I look back at that, have I given into the fear, I probably wouldn't be here. Had I given into shutting down and dimming my light and stopping my work, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be where I am now in terms of everything that I've created for myself and all the many people that I've been able to help. So I'm very grateful that even though they would come in and in a way try to scare me into giving up my gifts, that there was a part of me that had a deep knowing that this was my path, and I stayed true to that. I grasped onto that. Some people call it faith. I call it a knowing. I call it deep trust in source and the light within me. So I think that because of that knowing that I had within me, that kept me, kept pulling me out of that, kept pulling me out of that fear, kept pulling me out of, whatever challenges were there.
Yeah. And I mentioned that. I mentioned that because it's kind of important, because there are a lot of times we have people here who have a dream, have a desire, and I've noticed that they are things that really try to hem you in and lock you down, and we need to be able to pull out of that dark into the space of unlimited possibility, into the space of belief and love. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, what that space is and how to get there. One of the things I know you do, which you did to me, you looked into my field and saw something like a dagger or something that was either in my back or in my side, as I recall. Maybe you have a better memory, but I know what I do remember is you pulled it out, and I felt this warmth of love and this just deep connection, and no more of that feeling of being held back. It was a very surreal experience. What is it you've seen in people's energy fields that sort of can lock them into that world where it's like, no, it's not okay to live your dream. It's not okay to be abundant, joyful, to live your potential. What have you seen in people's fields, and what comes up?
Yeah, and that's a really good question, because it's kind of across the board, and also it's in what body is it? As you mentioned, one of the ways I see you is I see you in your multidimensional bodies, your energy, your spirit, your emotional, your mental, your physical. And when we expand that, when you expand you into your multidimensional self, and there are other bodies, but these are the ones that are kind of lower and where I find most of the things stuck. So when we focus on this and we clear one, and then we connect it to where else is it showing up, where, what is the spirit carrying that is showing up in the physical body? What is the emotional body doing that is rejecting the spirit, that is creating space for something to come in and occupy it? So it's a very beautiful process, and it's a very powerful, thorough, comprehensive process. And the many things that I see are, and it also depends on how it came in and what was the intention behind it. But often I see weapons, like stabbed into the back, like being stabbed, or pierced, impelled. Other times I see entities in the field that look like spiders, that look like snake beings, that look like beetles, this type of kind of insect, reptilian creatures that are taking up space in your field, that have come in at some point when you separated from yourself, when you stopped loving yourself, when you rejected yourself, and you created that space. You created sort of an opportunity for them to come in. And then I often see other things, other type of entities around your auric field that are creating more of that chatter, more of that you're not good enough, you're unworthy, who do you think you are, that are kind of, whispering, implanting thoughts into your subconscious mind that in a way feel like they're impossible to break, partly because they're not yours. So when energy is not yours, oftentimes we find it difficult to break through it, to shift quickly. So just many different things that I've seen, other life forms living in the energetic body that are occupying. A lot of times when people complain about pain, that's when they find entities attached or other lower vibrational energies attached to different parts of the body, the knees, different organs, the eyes, just wherever, you're feeling like that just doesn't feel like me, and I just
feel right.
This just seems like there's a heaviness, there's a pain, and it drains your energy. You feel like your energy is being drained because that's what they're doing. They're siphoning your energy. They're basically eating away at your life force. So it's just, it's a powerful process, and it's just so interesting. And when we look at that and we start removing what is there, we start releasing, we start uncreating, we start reclaiming what is yours, we start releasing contracts. When we start moving you back into the place of I am, moving you back to the place of sovereignty, moving you back to the place of love, then your body starts coming back together. Your different multidimensional bodies start to align with themselves, because now you're not splintered. You're not, split into many different, or even many different dimensions. You're coming back into it. You're coming into your alignment, mind, body, spirit, and you're loving yourself. You're embracing who you are. Other things that can create this sort of fragmentation or trauma in your life, in your childhood. The inner child gets stuck in that trauma and keeps reliving it. The victim gets stuck there. So when we go back and heal those ages, specific ages, and usually when I'm reading somebody, that age will pop up. What happened when you were 4? What happened when you were 12? And if they can remember, I can see the image. And it's not specifically what happened to them, because the idea is not to take them to the trauma. It's more about what they felt about it, because that's what we're clearing, is the interpretation, where they felt like their power was taken away, when they felt like they were unworthy or undeserving. And we restore that back. And then we bring in lots of love, and we integrate that part into the wholeness. And you see a significant shift in that.
I love it. And we're going to get a chance to actually feel into this today, which I am super excited about. The aspect that I'm blown away by that you do, you talked a little bit about the different energy bodies, the different spheres and multidimensional areas that we exist in. You call it 360-degree abundance, 360-degree quantum clearing. What does the 360-degree symbolize?
The 360-degree means that you are literally changing, transforming, shifting every area of your life, because who you are in let's say who you are in your relationship shows up in every other area. So as you're empowering yourself, as you're resetting, as you're recreating your perspective and creating a new reality, and you're embodying a new frequency, a new energy, a new vibration, that is overflowing to the other areas. in your life. So you're creating that 360 shift around you. So, we're so used to focusing on one thing, and then we put the other thing on hold. And a lot of times if we focus on money, we put love on hold or health on hold. So we don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to sacrifice one for the other. When you start working from within and you start allowing yourself to be, then that beingness shows up, or you show up in that beingness in every other area. So you see your relationships transform, you see your career transform, your money transform, you see your health transform. And that is the goal of all the work that I do. Empowerment, 360 shift, really is the total quantum upgrade, and moving you into the place of I am sovereignty.
I am sovereignty. I want to focus on that a little bit. Does this become, I've always believed like there is a divine path, a divine flow that everybody sort of is like here to discover on earth. And we forget, we come with this amnesia, or maybe we're blocked. It's almost like the path of miracles. I mean, I've kind of like focused on like, how do we reconnect to that? Is this connected to that in some way, that when we fully embody this, we sort of get on a path of like the miraculous sorts of things that truly are aligned to our soul, like showing up, if it's for us to experience, it comes in with a little more ease, a little more grace, a little more flow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just want to step back and expand that a little bit more.
Yeah, please. Please. I love that topic.
When we talk about sovereignty, when we talk about freedom, when we talk about full potential, when we talk about your full expression, ultimately that comes back to love. And love is the thing that we usually don't spend a lot of time in. One, because it's difficult for us to love ourselves. It's difficult for us to connect with ourselves. We've been taught that we are unlovable, or we're not worthy of love, or that we have to put others first, love others first, and then we love ourselves. So it's a topic that when we talk about it, it's easy to say I love myself, but is it really true? Does it have the frequency? Does it have the energy behind it? Does it feel authentic? When it's authentic, then all these other forms that we talk about, sovereignty, freedom, full expression, joy, happiness, abundance, they're all love. So, when I say that, I see this beautiful flower. It says love being the seed. And then, the stem coming up as we talk about sovereignty, and then the beautiful petals, and it blooming when we talk about freedom and joy and happiness and your full expression and bliss and peace and all of that. It has to start somewhere. So it has to start with you, right? So that's why we say to expand that, all of that I am, and coming back to I am love. From love, you create. From love, you ascend. From love, you transcend. From love, you live by your own rules. From love, you manifest. You attract. You can have it all. So I want to add one more thing to that. When we talk about love and we talk about being here in the 3D, because I'm hearing the question, because I'm tapping into the group energy. Well, how is that going to create my new job? How is that going to create my money? So it's the vibration. We talked about that being is how you're showing up, and how you show up creates everything. So just that resistance that you have now is creating what you're attracting into your field right now. Coming back to love, it's not letting go of your intention behind what you're creating. It's actually fueling your intention in what you're creating, because you're letting go of the resistance. You're not going against the grain anymore. You're not creating challenges in your life. So you're actually fast tracking yourself forward into your career, your success, creating that vision of your life, bringing your dreams into your reality. That's what love is. It's not something that, when you have time, you kind of feel into it, or you feel into it and then now you have to get to work, like shifting down to the 3D. Love is everywhere. Love is everything. Love is abundance and is success. So as you can see, we're already clearing that. We're clearing that already. We're already clearing that. So that resistance that was there, I can already feel it moving. So I can feel the amplification already. Yay for you guys!
Yeah, this is celebration time. This is amazing.
Right.
What we're going to get into more as we unpack this. We're going to see all sorts of ways this is embodying in people's potential self and going forward, and also where there's some of that heavier stuff that's holding him back. We're going to take a live caller, so press star 2 on your phone. What did you see happen with this? Because I know you've worked with people in so many different areas. What are some of your favorite stories?
Well, my favorite stories are when people come to me and they're like, I've done so much work and, I'm still where I am, or I'm still struggling, or I still have these challenges. And then after we work together, they're like, my life has changed. Like, and no one has ever been able to get to this, this one thing that was there, or see this one thing that was there. So those are my favorite stories because, from that, just that statement, you could tell, you can see, you can experience their life transforming already. They're now stepping into what is possible for them, where before they didn't see things, their visions, their dreams possible. And I hear that often. I hear that a lot. And around abundance. And I just, I love working with all the different energies. But abundance is something that, it's also very joyful for me to work in this area, because the way I see abundance and the way I see prosperity, they're different frequencies, but ultimately they're really the same. But somehow in our belief system, we created that they're different. And if we accept money but not abundance, then there's still a disconnect there. If we accept wealth and not prosperity, then there's a disconnect there. So when we work through what they look like, and we sort of bring them into oneness, bring them into love, then there's no resistance. Then you can have it all. Then you're not working for one and not the other, or open to one and not the other. So we remove the feelings, we remove, remove the barriers, the separation.
See, you said wealth and prosperity, and my mind is kind of like scrambling. Like, okay, wait a minute, let me feel into energetically where that difference is. Like, where is there that distinction? Very interesting. So you said, like, with those two particular things, wealth, prosperity, you want to bring both of them into love, or figure out where there is the disconnect. Explain that a little more, because I think for a lot of people, they're probably like, okay, wait, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. So when we look at love, and you can even see this for yourself, love is obviously where you create from. But when you look at money and the relationship with money, you'll see either an image, or you'll have a feeling, maybe your body feels constricted. What I see images, I see statements like belief systems, I see stories, I see events that happen, and I hear what you're feeling about it, or what you're thinking about it. So then I move on to the next one, and I look at wealth, and that usually looks totally different. So the way you feel about wealth is very different than the way you feel about money. So all of you here, you can kind of test that for yourself. And the same thing about abundance. When you tune into my abundance, notice how that looks and feels compared to the other ones. And the same thing with prosperity. So what you've done is you separated them, you've disconnected them, and you created conditions around them instead of all being the same. The way I see it is money is the building block, but love is the fuel. So money is love, money is light, money is mission, money is purpose. And what we do, or in the process that we work with, we delete and create all the conditions and the stories and the beliefs that do attach them separately. And then we bring them into oneness, wholeness.
Right.
So that they're the same energy. So now, and because often we'll recreate our money relationship, but then we're still not living the life that we want to live. We still are living an unfulfilled life, or we're still not attaining that prosperity that we desire, because we only work on that part of it. Exactly. So when they're not separate, when they're the same energy, then it begins to unfold. When you work with the building blocks, which money for me is the building block, then you unravel all the other ones, and then you release whatever attachments and whatever conditions, whatever belief systems you attach to them, and you bring them all into one. So if you're working on your money, then it's going to show up in abundance, it's going to show up in prosperity, it's going to show up in your wealth building ability.
Very fascinating. We're going to be talking about all of it, because our dialogues here and the work could go into many things. Sometimes it could be money. We have a lot of stories of people saying like Carrie Nina, who said, I tripled my income, but also changed my relationship with money. We've also had people write in and say that I literally feel lighter, like I looked 15 pounds lighter. My shirt hung off of me. This is Nigel. Do you remember this story? My wife and I were visiting with Maria, not planned a session. What was going on? He says, my back and foot pain were gone. My stomach issues were gone. When I got up, I literally felt and looked 15 pounds lighter. What in the world?
I do. Yeah, I do. That was a really interesting session. That wasn't really planned to be a session. So they came over to visit, and she was the one that shared, this is what's going on. You know, he's just kind of, you know, and sometimes we do. We just kind of roll with it, and, you know, we don't pay attention, or we don't want to kind of deal with it. We just like focus on doing instead of slowing down and looking at it. So when we looked at what was going on, there were so many things that I uncovered in his stomach. There was witchcraft. There was an entity there.
Really?
There was an entity attached to his foot. So as we cleared all of that, as we removed all of that, and actually during the process, he kind of fell asleep when he woke up. When we were done, he's like, oh, what happened? And he got up and he said, I feel so much better. And he was the one that said, look, my shirt, I feel like I've lost 15 pounds. And the test was that when he hugged her, he said, I couldn't reach her because of my stomach. And now look at this. Look at this. I can reach, and my arms around her. So it was very joyful for him. Yeah. And the pain was gone. So, you know, he could walk, and he didn't have that shooting pain in his foot. His back didn't feel strained or painful or tight. It was just it was very, very beautiful. But for me, the joyful part is when he said the test. This is the test. Look. Now I can see. So I was asleep. I didn't know what happened. But look, this is the results of it. I feel good, and I can hold her.
I love that. And I love the guidance, and I also love being able to let go of those things that are anchoring us to some of that false energy, false essence, some of that false light frequency. We've got to break out of that. And Maria has a huge gift of seeing where we're blocked, where we're holding the energy, where maybe we're anchored to something that is a chain that no longer serves us energetically. This is her gift to see from the light side, also to see in the other realms what may be heavy holding us back. And, you know, we've lived many lifetimes. We need to be free. This is the great karmic cleanse that's happening on Earth. This is the awakening that we're having. And as we come to terms with it and we now say no more, we begin to ascend upward, and your life will ascend. And Maria, I want to thank you for being here and being able to read those energies in people and being able to see it as you have since a child and bringing this healing work to the world. It truly is amazing. So thank you for being here and doing this work. I know we did a lot today. So I'm very thankful for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's always my pleasure. Like I said, it's, you know, coming into this beautiful energy is like being a kid in the candy store. There's so much fun, and there's so many frequencies, and there's always something amazing that happens. And now we're in a different place, and we're ready to take on more, and we brought in more for ourselves, and we're just, you know, in that beautiful celebration of joy, love, and happiness. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to seeing you all in Unbounded Love and help you create space for you, co-create with you to free yourself, expand to your greatness, and create your most extraordinary life. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love.